Hi, it's Alison here from the group Hug, and I'm introducing Sara Davison here, who's in our Hug directory. And for me, Sara is one of the most prolific divorce coaches. So yeah, we're really pleased to have her in the Hug directory and speaking with us today about the topic of really about victim mentality and how people have to sort of make sure they're not in that mode to help move them forward into their new lives.
Oh, thanks for having me, Alison. I'm so excited to be part of this. I just love what you're doing with the group hug. It's an amazing resource, and yeah, you're helping a lot of people. So yeah, honoured to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So first of all, I mean, how long have you been divorced for now, or separated, divorced
for? I have been happily divorced for about 12 years, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
A long time.
Ever find yourself stuck in that victim mode, victim mentality at any point?
Well, I think that's a really interesting thing. I mean, I think when you go through a breakup, especially if it's really shocking and you didn't see it coming, you've got often, it's a natural human reaction. Sometimes that can leave you feeling very vulnerable. So I think, there is a time and a place for that, where you're, in the first stages of it, maybe when you're going through that denial, that overwhelm, the shock, and really trying to come to terms with it. So yeah, I think, I guess you are a little bit of a victim of the circumstances if it's out of your control. So I think, it's a normal human reaction, but I think the key is not to get stuck there. Because as long as you remain feeling that everything is out of your control, that there's nothing you can do to turn it around and get your life back on track, and as long as you believe there is no light at the end of the tunnel, then that's going to keep you stuck, and it's very disempowering. So, a lot of the work that I do with my clients is helping them to take their control back. And how do you do that? Well, there's so many things you can do, but it's about shifting that so you don't stay as the victim. You see, actually, there's been so many studies recently that show that having some adversity in your life, actually, if you can deal with it healthily and come out the other side, it makes you so much stronger. And I think a lot of us spend our time running away thinking, I don't want anything bad to ever happen, because I guess it's human nature. But actually going through some adversity becomes your superpower in a way. And in fact, if you don't ever go through any adversity, then actually the lack of adversity becomes your adversity, because you don't have the skills to manage the challenges. So, there's lots of different ways of looking at it, and it's not all bad. There are silver linings, and you can flip it and turn it into something that, can mean that you're happier and stronger internally, moving forward.
Yeah. That's really interesting, actually. Yeah, because for me, when I really hit rock bottom, but then, this was sort of the group hug was in a different form. Then was sort of, teetering along in the background. And there came a point where I had to think, right, I've got to move on now. I can't just keep doing what I'm doing, which is just doing nothing, getting on and not moving forward. And I definitely am a different person to what I was in my marriage and actually before, I would say. So yeah, that's really interesting, really interesting. So when someone comes to you, a client comes to you, can you immediately tell if they're stuck in that victim mode?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of telltale signs. I mean, quite often people will say they feel stuck and that they can't let go, or they'll be stuck in what I call sort of negative patterns. So they'll be doing certain behaviors over and over again. So maybe that's social media stalking. I call it social media self-harming, where they're following their ex, and it's really painful to do that, although it can be a little bit addictive. It's almost like not allowing that scab to ever heal over. Or it might be the words that they're using. So, it might be all the questions like, why is this happening to me? What's wrong with me? Why did they leave me? Why am I unlovable? So those hamster wheel questions, I call them, they keep you stuck in that cycle where you're never going to get the answers. And even if you did, they probably wouldn't help you much. And it's about shifting that focus. So you can often tell by people that just are feeling that sort of stuck and that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And I think the key is to have faith that you will get through it, even when you don't know how. You know, in those early stages, you're not going to know how. Even a bit later on, you might think, oh, this is still going on and it still hurts, or I can still be triggered by things, because you can, as time goes on, you can get stronger, but then something will come out of left field. Maybe it'll be a text or an email from a lawyer, or anything like that, which will then just set you off into panic mode. And then you'll relive all those emotions. And so it's about knowing that you will get through this and having the faith, even if you don't quite know how. But there are lots of tools and techniques that I share, and a lot of the divorce coaches that I train also share as well, and the others in your community. I mean, there are so many resources now for people that they don't have to be alone. They can ask for help, and there are lots of things they could do.
I think even in the last 6 years, there seems to be less of a stigma about getting divorced and moving into a new life, and the help there is available. And it was interesting what you were saying about, because I recognise that in myself, as soon as you stop asking why, why did that happen? Why did this? And gradually over the years, you suddenly have a day where you think, oh, I didn't think about that person today. And then you're moving forward, or you're just not bothered by their actions when they've got the kids or something like that. It takes time, doesn't it? And
yeah, I mean, time is a great healer, and that will definitely help. But I think it's important to know there are things that you can do that are going to speed up those processes. Like telling your sad story and over again. And I don't mean to sort of diminish the sadness, because some of the stories I hear every day are super sad and traumatic. But telling that over and over again, your body's just reliving that trauma over and over again. It doesn't distance itself, go, oh, this is a story and this is reality. It just goes back into, oh, I know this story and it hurts and I get upset and then this bit really stings. And then you just relive all those negative emotions again. So stopping telling that, but then replacing it with a more empowering story or something from your breakup bucket list, which is something that I do with my clients. So what is it you can do now that you could never have done in that relationship? And then instead of telling your friends about the sad story, you're telling them, look, I'm going to take up, driving lessons or cookery course, or, I'm going to stay with my friend in Scotland. I haven't seen her for 2 years. Those things that are going to get you excited about life again. And I think, those simple things can speed up that process.
I love that. The breakup bucket list. That's amazing. What a great idea. Trying to think of it'd be full to the brim. I can think of quite a few things actually. So you've written a book as well, so that must be really helpful for people that can't see you in person. So how would that sort of help someone with regards to victim mode? Have you got some tips in there as well?
Yeah, so I've got 2 books. I've got Uncoupling, which is just over here, and then I've also got the personal journey through divorce, but also gives you all the tools and techniques to rebuild your life. And then the split is a 30-day plan. So it's a chapter a day for the first month to get you through the shock, the denial, and then moving through some of that trauma to really speed you up through that curve of the first month. Or you can use it later on. It just depends. But it gives you a 30-day plan, just so sort of small bite-sized techniques and tools that you can implement each day. So I mean, it's a great resource. My podcast, Heartbreak to Happiness, which is #1 in UK and Irish charts most weeks on the how-to list, is great because there's so much content there for free that you can listen to, covering all sorts of topics. I also interview amazing experts in all different fields, like family lawyers and abuse survivors, and so many incredible stories, and people who've overcome a heartbreak or a breakup and come out the other side, your everyday true story, which again I think are really inspiring for people. So I do think those things really help.
I love the sound of the 30-day plan as well. That's fantastic, just to get people started and get them changing their mindset. Fantastic. So we'll put some links to those in the info, so that's great. Okay, well, that sounds like you've given us some great tips on getting out of victim mode. We've got your books there, your podcast obviously as well. That's all very useful tools for people. And like you said, you've got coaches that you've mentored and trained as well. So we have actually got several of your wonderful coaches in the Hug directory. So again, your tools are out there in other people as well, aren't they? So it's just fantastic. How long have you been a divorce coach for, Sara?
I set up the business about 8-9 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
When it was, everyone was like, what was that?
Yeah.
What do you mean a divorce coach? And now, yeah, I'm lucky enough. We've got a community of about 200 coaches in 5 different continents around the world now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are people coming out of breakups, wanting to turn it into something positive, actually.
Yeah.
We've never done any coaching before, but want to help other people, you know, which is really lovely.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, absolutely.
really positive.
And then I've also got my new retreat I've just launched, which is how to divorce an abusive partner and recover from a toxic relationship, that I'm running in conjunction with the Dash charity, which is a domestic abuse charity.
And you're a patron of the Dash charity, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I just love working with the guys. They are amazing, and they provide such incredible support and services for men, women, and children who are really struggling right now, as well as refuges as well, so that people from all over the country can come and stay. But I think that domestic abuse is one of those charities that's been a little bit sort of under the radar for so many years, and they do such incredible work, and the team are awesome. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of meeting any of them, Alison, but they are incredible, such lovely women mainly, who are just going the extra mile every day to help people. So yeah, great charity.
Yeah, brilliant. Good work there as well. Good work all round. Oh, well, thank you very much for speaking to us today. And it's just great to talk about victim mentality with you, and to give people some idea of how they can stop being in that mode, because it is really wearing and tiring, and it does stop you moving into that future life. So thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Alison, to chat with you. Thank you so much for having me.